My favorite pair of shoes is a pair of Skechers sandals. It was a fairly expensive pair of shoes at the time. I paid $120 for them. And they are the ones that have the rocker bottoms. They were core strengthening. It was something special that Skechers did back in 2011. Basically, the whole point of their marketing strategy was that these shoes are unbalanced, and that helps to strengthen your core, and you can burn like 1.5 times as many calories when you walk. And it was a big fad, a big thing. Interestingly, I liked them because I liked the way that they made me work a little harder. And I never had a problem when I was walking in them being able to stay steady. In fact, I wore those things everywhere. I still do. I've gone hiking in them. I've gone dancing in them. I've done all kinds of things. I've been out in the snow. I have been climbing mountains. I have gone running. I have forded streams. These shoes have gone everywhere with me, and they've lasted. Interesting thing about the whole concept of these shoes, at a certain point, I don't know exactly how far in, but at a certain point, a class action lawsuit arose against Skechers. And people were very upset because these shoes weren't stable. Well, the interesting thing was their whole marketing campaign was based on the fact that these shoes weren't stable. They were hard to walk in. It was supposed to build your core. But people were unhappy because they weren't stable. And so they were hurting their ankles, or they were having problems with their legs or their hips or whatever, because their core wasn't strong and because they weren't ready for these shoes. So as a result, class action lawsuit gets filed against Skechers. Skechers stops their shoes. They stopped making those shoes. And I gotta tell you, those shoes are the most comfortable shoes I have ever owned. And I didn't just buy the sandals. I also bought a pair of dress shoes and a pair of tennis shoes as well. And I absolutely loved the way that it felt as I was stepping down on them. I loved the way it rocked. I loved the way that it kind of rolled me forward. I still do. Still wear them almost every day. I like things a little bit tough. It's just how I am. I've always been up for a challenge. So as these shoes are kind of an example of what it is, and my life is a perfect example of how I like a challenge. Nothing can come easy for me. Got to change that limiting belief. But a lot of people don't want a challenge. A lot of people want things to be easy. So that's why so many people jumped on the whole Skechers things. They jumped on it because they're like, ooh, I can take a 15-minute walk and I'm going to burn 30 minutes worth of calories. So I can not have to work so hard, and I'm going to have these awesome tight abs. That's not how it works. The thing is that if you want something in life, you've got to do the work. I didn't buy the shoes because they made me a promise. I bought the shoes because I liked how they felt. I liked the way it felt, like I was walking on clouds, and I loved the way that felt. But just like those people who filed that class action lawsuit because it was hard to walk in those shoes, a lot of times we get into a place where we don't want to work extra hard. We don't want to go that extra step, that extra mile. If we feel a little off balanced, we're like, oh no, I want to put on my old shoes. And as we put on our old shoes, we go back into that old place where we were at, where it's safe and comfortable. But if you don't put on new shoes, you're never going to be able to take the next step into a new life. Those shoes that I bought back in 2010 those beautiful, beautiful pink sandals that I bought, are getting old. And it is taking, they don't have the cushion anymore. They don't have the comfort anymore. They're getting holes in them, literally getting holes in them, because they're used so often. If I want to stay in those shoes that are comfortable, I can stay there. But they're only going to go so far. At this point, they're dying. It's time for a new pair of shoes. And the new pair of shoes that I get, there's going to be a breaking in period. Time where I'm going to have to walk in them. I'm going to have to test them out. Where I'm going to go through a couple weeks where I'm like, I hate these shoes. I want to put on my old shoes. But the old shoes don't work anymore. My daughter, a while ago, decided that she wanted these awesome, amazing red dress shoes. They were so cute. They were adult shoes, and she had just gotten into the adult sizes, and she was so excited to wear these brand new shoes. And so we bought the shoes. And she, being 9 at the time, decided, well, I want to wear my shoes to church. And we walked to church. And we don't live super close to the church, so it was about a half a mile. And we get about a quarter mile into it, and she's like, my shoes are hurting my feet. I want to take these off. And I said, no, you got them on. You're not walking barefoot, so keep going. So we kept going. We got to the church. Mom, my feet are killing me. I've got blisters now. Okay, so she took her shoes off while we were at church because she now had blisters. But when it came time to have to walk home, she had to put her shoes back on because she's not walking in bare feet all the way home. So she puts her shoes back on, she gets home, and her feet are a mess. And they're blistered, and she's miserable. She's like, I hate these shoes. I don't want these shoes. I never want to wear them again. I'm going to throw them away. And I said, well, sweetheart, that's sad, because if you throw the shoes away now, you're never going to get to experience them for what they are. So I told her, give them a couple more times. Wear them all the time until you, for a week, just be the only shoes that you wear for a week. So she put them on and she wore them for a week. And at the end of that week, they were her absolute favorite shoes. Her blisters had calloused, and she wouldn't go anywhere without those shoes on because they were the most comfortable shoes in the world. The changes we're making in life are like that. We put on that, we step into those uncomfortable shoes, and we have to choose. Are we going to keep walking in them? Are we going to keep walking into this new experience that we're creating for ourselves until it gets comfortable? Because we know that we want those shiny red shoes. Because we like the way that they look on our feet. We like the way that they theoretically feel. Because we've seen other people wearing those shoes. We've seen them on our feet. We think, oh wow, that's so awesome. Or are we going to say, ouch, this hurts, and take them off and discard them? Where are you being stretched? Where are you being rubbed? Where are you uncomfortable right now because you're not quite sure how this new life fits? Figure it out. And then, this is where the C word comes again, commit to sticking with it one more day. And at the end of that day, ask yourself, do I really, really want to walk in this new life? Do I really, really want to be here? And if at the end of that day, you really, really want it, then commit to one more day. Sometimes you just need to commit to 1 more minute, or 5 more minutes, or 10 more minutes. As Kristen Howe, the Go Big coach, says, what is the next smallest step I can take? to get me closer to my goal? What is the next smallest step that you can take in those new shoes that's going to get you closer to being comfortable in them? I promise you that the discomfort, that the uneasiness, and the pain of this uncomfortable new place, it will go away. And it might be your most comfortable place of life and your favorite part of life yet. So what's the next step you can take? What's the next thing you can do? How bad do you want this next life? Are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to wear the discomfort for just a little bit longer, knowing that it's going to strengthen you, that it is going to build your core, and that it is going to be who you need to be? It's going to build you into who you truly are and take you to where you truly want to go. I'm April Davis.